everyone. And
hello, everyone. How you doing, family?
well,
Welcome to Restoring the Brokenness, RTB. If you have made it to another Saturday, I would just want to say happy Saturday to you, and we welcome you. You found us for the first time. Welcome your family. It's a beautiful day, and we're ready to get
hi.
started.
I am Colette Allen, and this is
Alfred Allen Sr.
And he was ready to go. Okay, guys. We on last week?
No, we weren't.
We weren't on last week, and that's probably why he's all hyped and everything. But hey, before we get started, we would like for you all to share our page right now. We are also on YouTube Live. Absolutely. So if you know some people or you know anyone that can't get on that's not on Facebook, let them know we are on YouTube Live. So I'm really, really excited.
Are you excited today, Ms.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here with you.
So, okay, so the last show that we did 2 weeks ago, of course, Mr. Allen came a little late. But if you missed that show because we weren't at our regular location, you can go and check out the show. You can always go back and check it out. So, another show with Hott Topics. Everybody know that it's my favorite. I love Hott Topics. So what are your thoughts on that, Mr. Allen? Why I share my page.
I love it too. I think it's a very important thing. It keeps us in the it keeps everybody in the know of what's going on in the world and around us. Mm-hmm. So every so often we find it necessary to just pull it out of the closet and just have at it, because it definitely opens up interesting things that are going on that we think is important for you to know.
Okay, so remember, like and share our page. You can also comment in the comment box. We will have a number where you can call in. Okay. And some people don't want to be they don't want to be seen, but
anonymous.
They like to have their little comments, and so you can call in. So we will have that up and running again. But hey, let's start the show. Our disclaimer.
Well, our disclaimer: we, the hosts and guests of Restoring the Brokenness group, do not claim to be counselors, therapists, psychologists, or psychiatrists. The information provided is based on our own experience and only intended to inspire, encourage, and uplift you.
We will have that up and running again.
Wow. We advise you to seek professional help when dealing with situations beyond your control.
And that was beyond our control, what just happened. So, guys, listen, remember, for those, because I've had people call wanting to see the show, but they're just not on Facebook. But now we are live on YouTube.
All right.
And that's at Restoring the Brokenness. So you guys can go over there and check it out. Okay.
Please check it out. You'll enjoy it.
Okay, Hott Topics, which is one of my favorite.
Is it your favorite?
Oh, yes. There's always something going on.
Something burning off the
that
press.
I love to talk about. I love talking about Hott Topics. There's so much going on in the world today. I mean,
yes.
The news. I mean, hey, it's like every day. It's not like you know how they used to have breaking news. Nothing's breaking news anymore.
Developing news.
Well,
that's what this
they
is.
always say. Well, it's always
news
something.
Is always developed.
Yeah, it's always something that you will find. It's not a surprise anymore. Yes. Remember when they used to like interrupt this program to bring whatever?
Yeah. We interrupt this station to bring you an important, special
bulletin. And it's like, sir, nothing's. I mean, it's always something going on. So,
or you mean nothing's really surprising?
Nothing to see here, no. Okay, so
much going on. You're right.
Yes. Before we talk about a hot topic, I really do consider this. Last month was Black History. This is it this month that they are honoring women?
Yes. This month is Women's History Month, and they're honoring all women. For the whole entire month.
All right. So the woman that we're going to be talking about today,
What's her name?
her name is Ida B.
Wow.
Wells. And a lot of you guys probably, I don't know, young people don't really know a lot about about her. But why don't you bring a picture of her. Can you show the next slide, please? Okay, so Ida B. Wells, there she is right there. Okay, so what is it that Ida B. Wells, she was the most okay, Ida B. Wells her name was Belle Wells Barnett, born in July 15th, 1862, died in March 25th, 1931. She was an African-American investigative journalist, educator, and early leader in the civil rights movement. So, bring it back to us. So, okay, I know that was one of when we were talking about, okay, what African-American hero do we want to talk about? I know you mentioned Ida Wells, and you're like, there's so much to talk about her.
You can't talk about her in just 1 hour. That's why I had, just to let our viewers know, I thought the whole Hot Topic should be about her because she has done so much. She has trailed blazed a serious trail.
Right.
From start to finish.
Right.
I mean, her pen was going, and she was just motivated because of the indifference.
Right. So what is it that we know about Ida B. Wells? Well, first, she was born in slavery. Can I get that slide up? Slavery in Holy Springs, Mississippi. She was freed by the Emancipation Proclamation during the American Civil War. She lost both of her parents and an infant brother to the yellow fever epidemic.
Yes,
at age 16, this all happened to her. She ended up having to go work. Her grandmother supported her, of course, but she helped support the family. Then she moved to Memphis, and where she worked as a teacher. She co-owned the Memphis Free Speech and Headlight newspaper. She covered incidents of racial segregations and inequalities that Black people face. And she also, in 1890, she documented lynching in the United States through her pamphlets called Southern Horrors, Lynch Laws in All Its Phases, and the Red Record. And I guess because she was bringing awareness to the lynching, and she said it was a barbaric act.
Yes.
And it was only done to African Americans.
To keep them in check, to keep power over them. It was used as a terrorist. It was used as a form of terrorists when they felt that Black people were getting out of order, so to speak. They were lynched. They were lynched, and lynching wasn't all together just hanging a person by the rope. Lynching had to do with shooting. I won't go into the graphic details, but anything that could kill a man. That's what lynching was.
In a brutal way.
And the bad thing about it is that it was so common and almost welcome to a point where that they would give you they would give notifications in the newspaper a week or 2 weeks or even more leading up to it. So that's why thousands and thousands of people would show up to the lynching, because it was a show. They would announce that there would be a lynching. And the unfortunate thing about it is that, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself. All the lynchings that were done, so many was done a year, to a point where when Ida B. Wells began to check into it and find out what exactly was going on, a third of them were because the Black man had killed a white man, or a Black man had raped a white woman. So everything was done under pretext, and some of them, and the rest of them were just outright done because they just wanted to get rid of a person of color, simply because of hate. And unfortunately, that would include wives and children too.
So okay. Well, I mean, she's bringing awareness because she's a journalist, so she's talking about those, what's
Right.
happening, and of course, there was a white mob destroyed her newspaper office. Um, I guess it was like their threats to let her know, hey, we don't really appreciate what you're doing, and so this is what we're going to do to you if you continue. But that did not stop her. One thing that I like about her is the fact she was very outspoken and she
Yes.
was not quiet
Yes.
about the inequalities in her community, even in the world.
Yes.
And I mean, she's even stepped on people feet that were a part of her civil rights movement. I mean, I like the fact that she was not she didn't show any, she was equal, there was equal treatment when it comes down to
Right.
her integrity, her feelings about inequality.
yes.
She didn't care whether you were black, white, whatever. She's going to speak out against it.
Oh yes, and she had started out a teacher, but when she realized that her writing could impact history itself, oh, she just began to write, and she said that it was a way of being able to express her soul and her opinion of how uh, the black race was treated, and she didn't like she didn't hold back at all. And she had gotten to a point where she explained to wrote in an edit in the newspaper where she wrote the reason why the black people were being hung, and the editor of the paper took and put the news on the front headline, and when they found out about it, they thought she was actually a man, and they wanted to take him down the main street. They thought she was a man, and tie him to a post and take some barber shears to him, and then set him on fire. And then when they the mob decided to go to the office, she had made her way out of town. And heading on up north to Chicago,
because most of her documentation, most of her work was documentations of lynchings. Like
Absolutely.
She had a record of when it happened, where it happened. I mean, she was not quiet about it.
Absolutely. And this was not just in one state. This was around the entire country. And some ways of being able to obtain this was to read the newspaper, and the newspaper would report that some black person had been
raped
hung because of what he did.
But it also said her work is notable for its real-time reporting on the prevalent propaganda about black rape that was used to justify the practice. So they're justifying raping black people. I mean, it's wow.
Very unfortunate.
Wow. Also, she served as the first African American woman to serve in the United States House of Representatives. And she was the founder of the National Association for Advancement of Colored People.
NAACP.
Yes.
Absolutely.
She worked to combat prejudice and violence and fought for equality for African Americans, especially women. All right, Ida Wells.
Well, you know what?
Go ahead, keep going.
You know what? Does this ring a bell? I'm asking our listeners. Does this ring a bell of all of this taking place in the 1890s? And we had the proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed. The 13th Amendment had been amended to the Constitution in 1865, and it's now in the 1890s. Now, speeding up to this very day, does Black Lives Matter ring a bell? That's exactly. She was like the prima donna to what our women, and mainly that Black Lives Matters was started by a woman and preceded by women standing up for the injustice that is going on. Not not accepting it, and demanding change. So this is exactly what she was going through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's 1883, and we at the World Festival in Chicago, and the only thing that they had to offer there were a lady by the name of Nancy Green,
Mm-hmm.
who played Aunt Jemima. They had her doing a commercial
Mm-hmm.
for pancakes that were going to be sold. That was one of the booths they had set up, and then there was one booth set up for Frederick Douglass. Everybody know him, a great man, was a senator. And the only way Frederick Douglass was there was because of the Haitians had invited him there, not the Americans. And this was in Chicago, the big World Fair. And the thing about it is that the white people has heard so much about him, and every time he stepped out of his booth to walk around, they wanted to shake his hand. Wow. And the thing about it is that our representation at this fair was either about savages, or they would have displays of savages on display. But Ida Wells she was hot mad, upset at the fact that we weren't being represented. But yet and still, we had contributed to this great nation coming so far. And Chicago was a big example with the tall buildings. Chicago was beautiful, standing big, and then a lot of Black people were migrating to Chicago. They weren't just Aunt Jemimas, they were doctors. They were people voted into office. These are the type of people that were in Chicago.
Okay. Now, in 2020, she was awarded. She was honored with the Pulitzer Prize for
Pulitzer Prize. Yes.
Pulitzer, sir.
No, Pulitzer.
Okay, I haven't been to Lyman Zone, so you all know what I mean. Prize for her courageous reporting of the horrific and vicious violence against African Americans during the era of lynching. So she was awarded that because, like I said, she was a persuasive speaker. She traveled nationally. She traveled internationally. I mean, she went on lecture tours. Like, she really had a big voice. She had a voice, and she persuaded change. Like, absolutely. Talk to people where they really were impressed by her movement and really started to listen to her.
Absolutely.
So today we recognize Ida Wells, absolutely, as one of our heroes.
And she was, and as we said before, she was a teacher, as well. And one incident, she was on a train where she was on her way to. She worked in Memphis. Memphis was a really hot spot for Black people doing well. It was actually the trade center of the whole world, where ships would come in. Ships would come into port, and it was a really productive, prosperous place. Memphis was for Black people. She was on a train, had a first class ticket, and she was on her way to school to teach her kids, and the conductor came and told her she had to leave and go down to the second class. And usually this was an area where men were either drinking or cussing or smoking a lot, and she demanded she stay where she was. And it took 3 men, conductors, to pull her out of there because she fought to stay where she was. And when they pulled her out, the people on the train cheered, but she filed suit against the state of Tennessee for that, and she won. She won the suit and was awarded $500. But this was in the lower court, so it went to the Tennessee Supreme Court, where they start exposing her as not a woman of character, and really brought her down, and it upsetted her so bad, to a point where that she went on to write that, I was so upset and disappointed at what I thought would be a area where we would come so far, but I was so angry that I wanted to just take my whole entire race in my arm and just take flight and fly away.
Wow.
That's how upset she was.
That's sad when you want to just take all your people and go somewhere else.
And just fly away.
Okay. So sad news on today. Toni Braxton lost her sister, Tracy Braxton. She died today at age 50. They don't know. They're not really sure of the cause of death. But it's really, really sad for the Braxton. She appeared on the reality series Braxton Family Values with her sisters. Also, Marriage Boot Camp with her husband, Kevin Surratt. Tracy released her album, her first album in 2014, Crash and Burn, and it had a hit single, Last Call. She was 50 years old. So today we are sending up prayers for the Braxton family. I know it's very tragic to lose a sibling, a child, a wife. I mean, I'm sure that family, and a mom, and she was a grandmother as well. So her family is mourning the loss of her today. I'm wondering what happened. I didn't hear of her being sick or anything like that, but is it really interesting in finding out what actually happened? Because 50 years old is pretty young to die.
Yes, it is. My condolences to the family.
So we send our condolences to her. Okay. So I know we were getting some information. You know, you guys are like, why aren't you talking about the war? Why aren't you talking about the war? Because it was Black History.
That's right.
Not saying we don't care about that situation, but we really wanted to honor the month of February. And then then we had our little days off. I was sick last week. You were stranded in trap. I don't know what was going on, but we weren't here all the time. Right. So today we made that a part of our Hot Topics. Russia invasion of Ukraine. Now, this is Al's expertise because he's a what are you, veteran?
I'm a veteran. Yes.
Well, yes. So, okay, so Russia, I'm going to put it in my terminology. Russia didn't snap. Okay, so when I was researching the history of Ukraine, I'm like, okay, this has been going on for quite some time. Absolutely. But before we talk about that, I do want to bring out the fact that Ukraine, they have the largest European military. So Ukraine has one of Europe's largest military. I was like kind of surprised because I'm like, the way that Russia came in, like they didn't have that, like they were like a weak country, and I'm like. Right. Okay, if they have the largest, like what exactly are you? How you getting? That was crazy. I didn't understand that. I just had to bring that out because it was like, right, they're not just wimps here.
Right. They thought that maybe Ukraine would roll over and just allow them to just march right on in. But I don't have the exact number, but there is upwards to at least 4,000 or more Russians that have. Pay the price for that. Well,
they have 170,000 active duty troops, 100,000 troops that's sitting in reserve, right? Is that what you call that?
You talking about Russia?
I'm talking about Ukraine. Ukraine. I mean, they have the largest military, and then they have 100,000 veterans, like people that's been in the force and that's ready to pop off. And they even have people that are thousands of civilians are enlisting every day.
And then they have countries that is just giving them stingers and all kind of tank killing weapons.
Right. So when we talk about, what is going on, Russia and Ukraine war, this is an ongoing war between the Russia and Ukraine that began in February of 2014. It occurred after the Ukrainian Revolution of Dignity. All of this stuff, Al, I don't know. Do you know the background of this? Because I literally had to research. Like, I really was not. I'm sorry, people. I really was not paying attention to this war because we are already dealing with a lot of things. But when I went to the gas station,
Lord,
honey, I began to take notice. I said, let me
take notice.
I had to take notice. Somebody better tell me what's going on in this world.
I know you're right. In this world, in this peace.
I'm telling you, I was like $4.09.
Girl, that is too much.
That is a lot. How much you think you're paying for your gas?
I stopped at a certain number.
It was $4.09.
I said I don't care where that tank is at. I'm stopping at $40 in this little tiny car.
And honey, that thing made me run on back to the house and go online. Like, what's going on here? Something happening here. Because why am I paying all this? I'm paying all this. I said, oh, okay. Then I started getting more information by my research. Oh, this is ongoing. Oh, this is because, okay. Yeah. Then I asked Mr. Allen about it. I was like, you're the military guy. You can talk more about it. I'll just insert as you're talking.
Gorbachev. I was there in Germany when the wall went down. And you remember Reagan had asked Gorbachev to tear down the walls and everything. But at that time, Vladimir was he was an SS soldier in the army. He had worked his way up through ranks, really well. So he stood to be the next successor in line when Gorbachev decided to not be president anymore. So if you ask me, you have to have a memory. You have to have a memory like an elephant. This didn't start this last year or whatever.
Did it start after the Berlin Wall fell? No,
not exactly.
Okay.
It started with the last administration. Okay.
Oh, let's bring the picture up.
Okay.
Bring that slide up, please.
It started with the last administration.
Yes.
You remember all those
Trump
secret,
and Putin.
Remember all those the talk between Trump and Putin when they weren't allowing the cameras and stuff to be in there. Then after the printer, the recorder had recorded the conversation between them, Trump took the information from him and didn't even allow him to take it with him. They had secret talks, and the news agency was wondering what were they talking about. They could have talked about anything. Mm-hmm. So it's such a coincidence that during those talks, Trump was talking about pulling away from NATO, pulling out of being with NATO, because they say a strike against NATO is a strike against America. So at that time, Trump pulled away from NATO and left them by themselves, giving Gorbachev, Vladimir, the go-ahead for the next time when he become elected. Mm-hmm. So he was pretty much practically trying to give Ukraine to, oh, you want Ukraine? Okay, then I'll pull away from NATO so that America be neutral when you decide to jump on this country and take it down. But obviously Vladimir didn't estimate everything right and sit down and tally up the cost, because the oil prices, everybody pulling out of it, not giving him oil, all the companies pulling out of Russia, all the sanctions and different things against them, their boys coming back dead or not coming back at all, and the families are starting to ask where my son is, because they are literally, it's like selective service over there, but slightly different. You on the street and you of age, they pull you off the street and they take you, and the next thing you do is you're heading down the road in a truck to fight a war, and the motivation is not there. Mm-hmm. So that 40-mile column, it began to disperse because of the morale and because of people deserting the army. That's the different. Those are the things that they're not telling you, and also the czars that are over here with the diplomatic immunity. They are like people that Vladimir Putin have to answer to, and they're taking their yachts, they're taking their planes, and they're live freezing their money and everything. It's just so much that that he has to pay the price because of what's his decision to invade.
Right.
And our president, Joe Biden, is not calling in an invasion, but that's exactly what it is a long time ago. I don't know what late show he's on, but because of political reasons, they're kind of being careful because they want to move slow with Russia. But Russia's the type of country, and Vladimir Putin is the type of man that you have to deal with him straight up. And that's the only thing that he understands is power, and the same thing that he does, and he'll back out. But I don't see this war going too long because their economy is collapsing as we speak.
So the reason why Russia attacked Ukraine was because of what?
Oh, because
that's what people are like.
Because Ukraine used to be Russia,
right?
But when the wall fell, Ukraine decided, hey, we don't want to be with y'all anymore. We want to be with the European country. We want to be part of NATO. We want to be part of the Baltic countries. If you put that map back up, we want to be part of the map. Baltic. We want to be a part of the Baltic country. As you can see right here, Russia is the orange to the far right. Ukraine is the blue is the green right over the blue, which is the Black Sea, and then all the other Baltic countries are to the far left. They want to be a part of them, and Russia said, "No, you ain't." And as a matter of fact, once we take you, we might take all the other Baltic countries, but these other Baltic countries, nations are NATO. And you talking about that's which is part of America. And if Russia decide to go anywhere past that, then you got World War III going on. So we are to a critical it's a critical situation. But if we figuring Vladimir Putin like we are, he's not going to go further than Ukraine, if Ukraine at all, because Ukraine is really giving him some black eyes, and really dealing with them and really fighting tough and really holding their ground. And the longer Ukraine hold their ground, the worse Russia is, because their money is tied up. They'll run out of munition. They'll run out of bullets. They'll run out of missiles, and they won't be able to fight. So they left. They went into some of the eastern countries, and those Muslims have dealt them such a blow that they just would turn back around, do the research. They tried to go into Afghanistan or one of the other countries, and they didn't fight the war that Russia fought. They fought a different war, and it decimated the Russian army to a point where they had to withdraw and just leave the country alone.
Like pretty much when they were talking about in August of 1991, that Ukraine officially declared itself as an independent country. Right. But they keep talking about the Revolution of Dignity. Did you know anything about that?
Oh man, I sure did, and that's what restoring the brokenness is about. Identifying the failures, identifying where we are broken and where we need to come back up to. You want to elaborate on that?
Well, I was trying to, because I kept hearing when I was researching this, it kept talking about this occurred after the Ukrainian Revolution of Dignity, and I'm like, what happened? What happened with that? And I just didn't know. Like, a lot of things happened after. They keep alluding to that. They keep going back to something happened during that time that caused Ukraine to say, you know what, we are no longer identified. We were declaring ourselves an independent country. That they're no longer they will no longer follow the laws and the rules of Russia.
Well, one of the things
and their independent Soviet Union.
And not just Ukraine. There's other countries that was trying to pull away from Russia as well when the wall fell. But Ukraine was one of the more staunch people that insist on pulling away from Russia. And they had, like I said, they had the Tsar families over. These are people like kings and queens, and they hung every single person that was a czar, was a royalty.
Right.
Every family member, they wiped them out, and then they pull away from it. And at the time, Gorbachev, he wasn't trying to hold on or try to fight to keep these people in check, because he felt that, hey, that's what that's their choosing. If that's what they want to do, then they can do that, and to form another nation or independence. And that's where that dignity came in, because they the only thing that was happening is they were straining them. They were taking money. They were a poor nation because all the money was going to. They were just taking the money and not really
that's a part of the
country,
because they were talking about the fight of a Ukrainian citizen for their rights that was named. That's why they named it that. Like, they did protests, and I guess that brought in the other countries, because they were like, we demand to be treated right. And so I think a lot of this war is a part of that. And it started in the 2014. And I guess, why would he continue? Like,
well, it's been an ongoing struggle.
Right.
It's just been skirmishes, wars, and fighting to try to pull away. And then they finally was able to pull away. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I know. It says on the 21st of November 2013, 1,500 of people came to the square as a sign of protest against the refusal of the pro-Russian president. What's his name? Viktor Yakovlevich. What you call? What's this? Yakovlevich, to sign the documents of which our state had been coming for years, agreement of associated membership of Ukraine in the European Union. So on the 30th of November, only several hundreds of activists remained on the streets, mainly students. So one of the students, they were brutally chased by the police. And in response, by December 1st, hundreds of thousands of people came to the center. The police convoked people to rebel against corruptions. So I think a lot of that was really the people standing up for their rights against the government. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I was just, is that a part of the wall coming down? Was that associated with that, or what was? Because that was a big deal. Because when you do the research on what is happening now, it goes back to that.
Absolutely.
So that's why I was asking.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you are okay, I did see somebody make a comment. Can we read the comment? Let's see. Tamara said, and welcome to the show, Tamara. She said, what should we expect within she said, what should we expect within the next weeks and days to come, because we had a war like this back in 2014. Well, the 2014 war wasn't our war. We're talking about Russia and Ukraine. So that wasn't our war. That was their war. They've been fighting this for years. They just decided, Russia decided to buck up and do something bigger than the basic stuff.
Right. And also,
so she's saying, what do you expect now that they're in full war, which is already affecting our gas prices? We're already in a pandemic, which we're inflation is kicking our tails too. What else can we expect from that as an Army guy?
Well, something's got to give. We all know that Russia can't afford to continue the war, because you have to the war has to be campaigned and has to be supplied.
Keep going.
Has to be
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Hello? Okay. You guys can hear us? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
You know what Russia has to be able to finance this war, and they're unable to do it because all the other all the penalties that are being launched against them. So they something has to give. As a matter of fact, today they talked about the Ukraine president and Vladimir having talks now and to try to resolve the situation. But the thing about it is they can't afford to fight the war. As a matter of fact, he didn't think it would go this long. Vladimir Putin didn't think that the war would go this long, and he is really, really upset.
What did he think
about the whole situation? I mean, it was supposed to be over with. They were supposed to be able to go in and defeat this country a long time ago, because Russia is like 50 times bigger than Ukraine. But the Russian army, they don't have seasoned soldiers. Like I told you, these soldiers are citizens that were pulled off the street and to like selective service. You have to report to a certain place.
Right.
Well, you have to go and be a soldier all of a sudden. So they're not professional fighters. They're not more experienced.
What are we to? Is anything else going to happen? We already know the prices of everything has gone up. The gas prices, you might as well just start learning how to fly or ride a bike or
we only get
skating.
We only get 10% from Russia to begin with. Now, what the United States
are the prices up?
Well, because the oil we get from Russia. Now, what the president planned on doing is going down to the South America and get some oil and different things from them. We already have a large reserve of oil, and we already produce most of our oil ourselves. So,
well, that's what he needs to do, because I'm gonna have to start a GoFundMe page, Al.
You're gonna start a GoFundMe.
I really enjoyed all these memes. These gas memes are so hilarious, but it's so true. Okay, I know he's not listening, but if you can please go down to South, where he's supposed to go?
To South America.
Go to South America, Biden, and go and get us some gas so we can feed our kids and get gas. Some people they can't do both. Those days of giving me $2 a gallon ain't happening, people. I want $5 worth of gas. That is not gonna happen for you. Now, Biden, you're gonna have to clamp it up and get on Air Force and go on down south.
Don't be sleepy doing.
Go get the gas. Bring it on back up so I can afford to pay the bills.
You go get the gas.
Take care of my children.
Make something happen.
This is horrible.
Right.
This is a mess. So how long do you anticipate this war going on? Do you think that by next month they'll be finished with all this shenanigans? Or do you think that he'll amp it up more where our people may have to come over and help?
I'm going to tell you, politics is very important to us because it affects us every day. So a lot of people say, hey, I don't get into politics. I don't do this. I don't do that. It pays to at least listen to see what's going on, whether it's half truth or whatever. You take the rest and you figure it out yourself. So it's really hard to kind of really figure out exactly. We have to do a let's see situation, see what happens. It depends on how long Russia wants to fool around and be in denial.
Right.
Because first of all, like Ukraine has really given them a go for their money, and they're still holding on.
Right.
And they're getting help from NATO. They're getting help from Europe. They're getting help from America. We're giving them Stingers, Javelins, and
this is really costing us, though. It's costing us.
But it's costing Russia the most.
Yes, but do you know how many people? Al, you don't be on Facebook, or the number of people.
No,
I'm seeing videos of this gas. I mean, that it's bringing people. It's making people aware of what's happening in the world. I tell you that much.
Well, one thing I have
so we
seen,
gotta,
and I'm very disappointed with it.
What
is the people trying to run away and get away from the war, and they're able to the Ukrainians are able to get on the train, but Black people aren't being able to get out of the way of the war situation. And Russia is doing crimes of war. I mean, they're just indiscriminately dropping missiles all over the city, simply because the Ukraine soldiers are fighting them so tough that they have to retreat. So they just start sending missiles in to soften up the fight. And unfortunately, they are killing. You know, I've listened to the news and actually seen or heard a person talking about it about the situation around him, and while he's talking, a round comes in on him and killed 5 people in a family. Or
they got
so the Black people should be able to get on trains and get away and run away from the war just like everybody else. They said, well, they don't have proper documents. Well, I don't see them searching anybody for proper document. They're allowing the white people to get on the train and get their children. But
so they're not letting Black people get on the train.
Right. There's pictures.
How you discriminating even in the wartime?
It's unfortunate.
Lord help Jesus.
It's unfortunate. The fighting men have to stay behind, because of the war. But you look at another scene where you see Black people, you see the father, you see the mother and the children, they all stand behind. They're not.
So they're not giving.
Get on the train.
They're even
saying that they don't have proper documents, but everybody's getting on these trains, and I've not seen one time they check for
you don't have
proper papers.
Maybe the people don't even have time to get their stuff, because if they're sending in rounds where they live, they're just trying to escape. So even in war, we don't look at we're not equal.
Right. What's the word for that when you're running away from the war? You're
running away from the word.
No, the war. When you run, it's called. I don't know.
Refugee or something. I don't know.
If one of the viewers can,
that's horrible.
I can't think of the word.
I'm really saddened by that. I didn't know. Like I said,
please.
I had no idea
that. Be fair. These are human beings,
right? And they want
have their families,
too.
And they are trying to get to a place of safety as well. Allow them to get on the train and be passengers, just like all the other Ukrainians. Now that's just bad form right there. It's sorry to see that we still have to witness something like that, where that you don't take stock in people of color because you feel whatever way you feel about it.
That's horrible. That's sad. Wow. If there's any questions, what happened here? If there's any questions that you all have, I don't know what happened. Hey, post your questions. You can ask questions. Okay, so I know that this is something that people wanted to know more about. We didn't talk about it because, like I said, Black history, we want to talk more about that. But now that it is really, I'm feeling the effect. I'm sure you all are feeling the effect. And so we are just going to keep those families and the Ukrainians in prayer, and even the Russians, because there are people that didn't ask for that. They just happen to be on the wrong side. I'm sure they're afraid
some of
as
them
well.
that fear the war. Their parents, you'd see their parents crying for them, asking, "Where's my son?"
Yeah. So I mean, they're losing too. So we definitely want to keep everyone in prayer. Remember, guys, I know that that the weather is breaking and spring is here. I think we have to change our clock tonight.
Well, hold up.
Is the clock going back?
It's going to spring ahead, but
listen
to this. If the clocks are supposed to spring ahead, why can't the weather spring ahead too?
Well, we just had 3 inches of snow in Tennessee. Well, I woke up
it's going to be too far south.
Right. We had to go a little bit further. But keep in mind, I know that everyone's tired of the pandemic. In fact, mom's caregiver people are saying, "Oh, they're inviting us to a meeting post pandemic." Ma'am, sir, whomever you are, we're still in the pandemic. We are. I know that people are not wearing their masks like they should, and everybody's like they're just over it. But there are people still dying. I know that they're not reporting it, but people are still dying. And I'll be glad when this is all over, but I don't think it's going to be over soon. I hope and pray I'm wrong, because I'm ready to live somewhat of a life outside of the house. But I don't know if it's going to be soon. What do you think? I'm serious.
We had to get on out there. Come on.
Why he laughing?
I got a boat to put you on, girl.
Put on your mask. And be safe.
I'm starting to get a little bit anxious.
I am really tired. It's almost 3 years. Isn't 3 years?
I got a boat with your name on it.
I'm just saying 3 years. I know, but I'm not trying to be dying either, or not being able to breathe. I'm sorry. I take that very seriously. We've lost so many people, whether they're family members, people friends. This is real. I don't take it lightly. I know that the population of people that I'm around don't understand the struggle because they're not dying. My people are dying. So my attitude about the mask is very serious. I don't, Mom is, she how she is. She overprotected, whatever. Are your people dying? No. Okay, then you may not understand the seriousness of this. So until everybody have empathy for everybody and respect everybody, maybe we can turn this corner. But until then, I'm going to be safe. Because I don't know if I can survive it. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to take that chance.
Well, look at this. When I come across a truck stop now, I don't hardly see anyone wearing a mask.
Nobody wear masks.
I'm starting to feel. If I didn't know any better, I'm starting to feel funny. Going in there with the mask on, my glasses all fogged up.
I feel weird when I go to the store and I'm the only one with a mask on, and they're looking at me. I'm looking at them. I mean, it feels weird, but so what? Because I'm not going to be trying to, it's called peer pressure. Oh, you don't want to be different. I am different. I'm going to be different because it is real. And yes, everybody want to not act like it hadn't happened and they just want to be over it. But until this thing break completely, it's still here.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the war hadn't started right away, because he knew it was going to be a tough war, but he knew it would be devastating to go in there at the height. Because
that's what everyone was like. Virus. Why didn't you go? Why didn't he do it when his buddy was in office? And they were like, well, the virus was there going on.
Right. The virus is going on. They were setting up channels to pull away from NATO. So NATO would be by themselves, and it'd be a easy once he walked through, grab Ukraine, he can grab all the other Baltic countries.
Even in that, God was watching over him.
You're talking about World War III.
So everything happened for a reason, and he.
That would have been horrible. Have been a mess.
That would have been a mess
if Russia would have went for NATO.
Because I'm telling you right now, that orange guy, would not have done anything about it. He wouldn't have been like, I mean, they're laughing, yakking. They all, they just lovey-dovey. I'm like, man, please. I'm sorry. Let me be professional. We're not going to talk politics on the show.
And usually when a president talks to the foreign president,
there's supposed to be someone recording that.
And it's made public to a certain extent. Not the real secret stuff, but it's made public. But President Trump took the paperwork, everything the recorder had did after the meeting, and no doubt he probably just tore it up.
Who knows? But okay. So I think we had a good show today, guys. Remember to like and share our show. And listen, guys, we are on YouTube. So we are live. YouTube. Yes, we are live on YouTube. Hey, go on, walk on over to YouTube, hit that like button, share, and let people know we are on. And if you have any topics that you would like to hear us talk about, let us know. Also, I am going to be talking a little bit more about. So, if you all are Facebook friends with me, you may see have read some snippets that I have put on my page, and those little snippets are from my book. I love what she writes. Yes, from my book. Come on, Chronicles of a Caregiver. Chronicles of a Caregivers. Make you laugh and make you cry. Yeah, Pillar Talk. Pillar Talk is my baby. That's definitely my baby. But Chronicles of a Caregiver is something that I am going to be I think that may be the first one that'll probably be released. Then I can share more about it, but I still give little snippets. And it's raw. It ain't no skimpering through. Let's check. No, I'm keeping it 100% real. You're going to know that's coming from me. My experience, my journal, my ups, my downs, my disappointments, my very interesting. It's like the long walk home experience. How much has this being a caregiver has changed me, my family, how much impactful it has been. I write because it's a healer. I write because it's therapeutic. I write because people need to know. I know that there's going to be people that may be influenced, may be encouraged, and may even help. And then you have your naysayers. No one cares about that, because that's in anything you do. You're going to have naysayers, but you speak your truth. You help people, and so that's Caregivers of a Chronicles coming out soon. Just stay tuned and please support me. Support me. Write that thing. Okay. Right. All right. And also, if you know anyone that is looking for services for their child that's not yet school age, that you may think may have autism or have some speech delays or perhaps behavioral concerns, you can also check out on my page on the RTB platform. I always put in the web page of One Stage at a Time, but it's on www.onestage2021 at www.onestage2021.com. Mm-hmm. So look at that. I will place it again on the RTB platform. If you know anyone, I do right now because of the pandemic, all of my clients are virtual. So if you are concerned or know someone that may have some concerns about their child, bring them on up in here. Check out the webpage. Request a consultation, free consultation, yes. And I will definitely make sure that we are able to accommodate you accordingly. Wonderful. So on that note, we are going to do what? Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming. Thank you all. All right. So I guess Alfred's going to close a song for the Braxton family. But are you going to do our closing? You can do it. Okay. We'll do our closing, and then this song is dedicated to those that we've lost along the way, and also to the family of the Braxton that lost their sister on today. Okay, so special thanks to all of our viewers, followers, and supporters of Restoring the Brokenness group. Special thanks to our technician. Please remember to like and share our page. Please follow us on Restoring the Brokenness Instagram page, Twitter at RT Brokenness. We're also on YouTube. Also, you can email us at restoringthebrokenness@gmail.com. Remember, as always, be whole, be healed, and be at peace.